Ni hao, ni hao ma. That means hello and how are you in Mandarin Chinese. And today I'm going to talk about an ancient Chinese painter who was born in 1269 called Huang Gongwang. And his family name is Huang, and his first name, like my name is Georgina, is Gongwang. They write it the other way around. So Huang Gongwang changed the way landscapes were painted in the ancient Chinese art. And a landscape is painting or developing an image of the land around you or features on the land around you. And he changed the way it was painted because he used a very dry brush, a dry brush with no paint and no water, together with light washes of ink, and he would smudge out the ink with the dry brush. So he spent most of his life, his later life, living in the mountains and painting and writing in the mountains. So here I've got a couple of little images of his paintings, and you can see that how he's sort of blended in the ink with the brush on these paintings here, and the details are on with the ink that he's applied. And he would often add Chinese words or symbols to his artwork because he was also a writer and a poet. So in this one here in particular, you can see lots of text, and they put the symbols going downwards like that as they read them down. So I thought we'd produce, being inspired by Huang Gongwang's folk art style painting and pictures, so we would produce a piece of art based on Gongwang. So what we will need is some symbols which you can search on Google for and print them off. That's the Chinese alphabet, and it also has meanings for each symbol as well, other than just the letter of the alphabet. And we will also need some black chalk pastel or charcoal or both, and a white common piece of chalk or white chalk pastel. I'm going to use a grey background, so I've got a pale grey piece of paper, but you can do it on white. It doesn't really make any difference, it just affect the colour of the background. And what we need is, it's really simple, we just need to get the black chalk pastel or charcoal, and we need to press really quite hard down on the paper here. So we've got all this little residue coming off because that's what we're going to need to blend in our with our paintbrush. So once we've put down our black pastel, we will need a dry paintbrush, completely dry, no paint whatsoever, and we're just going to pull this down, the residue of the pastel, and that will produce our blending effect. Okay, and then when we get to the sky bit, we can blend that across. Just blow off some of the residue that we haven't blended in, and go along the bottom and make a base for our picture. And then along there, another little base for the mountains, and we can add some white. Blend that in, and just keep adding and blending until you're happy with your desired effect. So you can, like so. So I'm doing this really quickly, but you could take your time and get some nice little effects going on. And just blow it off or shake it off. And I'm going to put some white in the mountains. And really give it a good blend with your brush, you know, it's just nice and blended in. We don't want it all loose, and once you put the residue on there, you need to blend it in so we don't see any of the chalk left. So and just keep adding it. It doesn't matter if you go over the top like this, over the sky bit there. It just adds to it, to the, we're after a little folk art effect. So we've got our background like so. You can add as much or as little as you want to that background, and then we need two markers, like a black marker and a red marker. So what we do then, you could by all means paint the detail on, but it's just simple to add then little details. So I'm going to add some little houses. First of all, I'm going to add a tree actually here. So the tree is really simple, and simple folk art style. Folk art's very raw, basic, childlike. So it's really quite easy to do, and you get lovely effects. So some trees, and then I'm going to put some little houses in here, so little Chinese style pointy roof houses with some little thatch roof. And just experiment with stuff. I'm going to do another one there. You could put as many trees, have a tree coming in here on the side. And like I say, because it's folk art, there's no exact rules, but you don't have to be perfect. It can just be fun. Just some little details in here. You could have a temple going on, Chinese temple. If you look at the behind me, there is a picture I've already done, which I've put all the little trees and little houses in here, and I've added this temple, and then I've put another little house at the back there. So I'm just going to finish this little temple off quickly. So you can take your time. I'm just giving you some ideas here quickly. Okay, so there's my little temple, and then as I say, I've put another little sort of house there with a little... They always have the little turned up roofs, don't they, in Chinese houses there. And then you can just add some little details. And like I said, some birds in the sky, which is just a tiny little V shape flying around. And you can see how it's developing. Put some little details on your mountains. And just build it up as much as you want or as little as you want, okay? And then as I say, Huang Gongwang, he would add text, some text to his pictures, and it probably tells a story about what the image is, or a poem he's written. So that's why we need these symbols. And then we need to take a red and black pen and then just add some symbols in. So we could just add, I'm going to add the symbol for the moon, which is like an A-shaped symbol like that, and then I'll add some more down here. And if you can't get hold of any symbols, just make them look like Chinese symbols just to get the effect. It's only you, it's your piece of artwork. You don't really need to explain what it means. They're just part of your artwork, and put them in a little box maybe. And then I'm going to put some black ones over here, and just little black lines, and maybe a T shape, and just have fun and enjoy it. So that is like a simple Chinese inspired folk art piece inspired by Huang Gongwang. So give it a go. It's really simple and easy, and all I've got to say is Zaijian, which is goodbye.